Get Out There Outdoors is proud to represent the following. You can find them all on Facebook. Wall hangers. Display that European mountain pride. MWD Outdoors. Make them take a dirt nap. A to Z Game Calls. Specializing in custom slate calls. Prime One Camo. Be the Predator. Deer Tracks Plaques for some top quality displays.
Hello, Tony here with Get Out There Outdoors. I want to talk a little bit today about the youth gun season. Just kind of want to touch base on making sure the kids enjoy the experience of being outside and enjoying the hunt and things like that, and experiencing wildlife. And to me, there's nothing like having a deer in at 10 yards, even if you don't get to harvest. It's just a huge rush. It's a very enjoyable time for me. One of the things I want to talk about is making sure they're comfortable, making sure that if it's going to be cold, you make sure they're dressed warm enough, and extra socks or gloves and hand warmers, things like that. If it's going to be a warmer day, dress accordingly for the weather. Make sure you get a comfortable seat. Take something to occupy his mind. Last year I took just the hunting regulations book and let him read through the youth hunting regulations for Ohio, and that kind of bought some time. And don't force them to sit. If they're ready to go after an hour or 2 hours, take them back to the house, let them get warm, and maybe see if they want to go back out later. Kind of force them to sit into a longer hunt, 4, 5, 6 hour hunt. I don't think that would help. Maybe make them go back out, or even maybe ever do it again. If you kind of let them call the shots while they're out there, and you quit when they're done. If they're ready to go back, just take them back to the house, get them some food, let them mess around with their weapon or clean it, and kind of familiarize themselves with their weapon. In my opinion, you can't never be really too familiar with your weapon. I like to make sure you give them plenty of time on the range. Let them clean the thing, let them oil it. A lot of people may not want to oil it right before they're going to hunt, but we keep our guns oiled and clean. And I use the MWD Dirt Nap Fresh Earth scent. Works really well. You don't have to worry about that typical gun oil smell. And taking him and letting them know the weapon and kind of familiarize them with it, make sure they're accurate with it, make sure they know how it operates, ensure a good shot if they were lucky enough to have an opportunity to try to harvest an animal. You don't want to put a bad hit on it and end up with a long trek and drag things out. It may not work out. And they may not enjoy a long track if they were to get a bad hit on an animal. And we all know that bad hits lead to long tracks, and you end up kicking the animal up, or it's just not a good experience, and especially for a youth trying to get into it and enjoy his time out there. I think it's also important to, if they were lucky enough to have a good shot on an animal, and make sure they understand the importance of giving the animal its time to expire. Myself personally, I like to sit around 45 minutes. Obviously, unless you hear the animal crash, and then I'll still sit there for 10, 15, 20 minutes to ensure that everything's done and over with. And I feel like that's an important thing for a kid. They're going to get excited and they want to go and try to find the thing right away. But make sure they understand that you need to give the animal its time to pass on and expire. Make sure your kid is familiar with your state's regulations with the hunting, and they understand the bag limits and the dates and the times. Make sure they understand what they're required to wear, what they can do, what they can't do. One of the things I did is I took my son out and got him a few things new this year, because he's a growing boy. I got him a new orange toboggan, new hunter orange vest here, just to kind of make sure he understands that he is required to wear that in the state of Ohio. Try to sit somewhere where you're going to see some activity, whether it's squirrel or maybe you got young deer, yearlings that pass through there very often. Them seeing activity is going to keep their mind kind of in the game and going to entice them to want to sit there and experience and maybe be there long enough to have that attempt to harvest a nice animal for the first time. You don't force them to sit there. I don't feel like you're forcing them to sit for extended period of time. If they're ready to go, typically what I do is I just take them out and maybe we walk the longer way back and maybe try to kick something up and kind of make it more exciting for them. But I feel like, in my opinion, if you're forcing a 4 or 5 hour sit on a child that's ready to go, it's probably not going to make him enjoy the event. So I kind of let my son call the shots, if you will. If he's ready to roll, we roll. We go back to the house and get a snack and talk about what we seen or what we didn't see, and where we want to go next time. Maybe we only go back to the house for just a few minutes and he's ready to go back out and then sit in maybe a different spot or whatever. But kind of let them decide on when they're done, whether they're ready to go back to the house or if he wants to sit there a little longer. I try to ask him if he's cold, if he's comfortable, if he's hungry, if he's thirsty. Like I said earlier, you take some snacks, and you don't want to obviously take a bag of chips out there that's going to be all crinkly and making a bunch of noise. So you throw them in a Ziploc bag, or take one of the short stack things of Pringles or something like that for them to. That also will kind of help occupy their mind and maybe entice them to sit there a little longer if they got something like that to snack on or have a drink of maybe. And it's all about the kids. So as long as they're comfortable and having a good time, if they want to sit there all day, sit there all day. I take them with me when I go pull my trail cameras. We go over the photos together. It kind of gives them an idea of what's out there and what he might see, and kind of makes it a little more enjoyable if he can see that there actually are deer out there, because we all know there's days where you sit out there and you don't see anything. So I think he really enjoys looking over the photos from the trail camera pictures and seeing the does and seeing the fawns with the spots and just the squirrels and the coons and the possums. Anything you catch on camera, he seems to be really into that. And I feel like it really helps him want to go and want to sit there and understand that you may or may not see anything that day. After the sit and wait, after the animal is taken, and you wait your time, and maybe let the kid take a lead on tracking and trying to recover his own harvest. I think it's very important to teach them the importance of what to look for as far as your obvious blood trail. Some of these animals you get a shot on, they don't bleed right away, so you try to look for their tracks in the mud or the kicked over leaves, maybe the broken off twigs or broken over weeds, stuff pushed in one direction and limbs broken off, and I try to track slow, a few steps at a time, looking out in front of me to ensure we don't push the animal. Again, this is just a few things I try to do to ensure my son enjoys the time outside and the outdoors. He's been going with me for 2, 3, 4 years now. He's 10 years old, seems to really enjoy it. If you guys think this video was helpful and you want to see more of the Get Out There Outdoors crew, again, my name's Tony. Check us out on Facebook, check us out on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, and most importantly, be safe, have fun, and get out there.